I have to admit that the question caught me off guard. As I led Children's Chapel a few months ago, I remember thinking that I was going to be the one asking the questions and then, of course, supplying the answers. So when a little hand shot into the air as I was teaching them the song that we just sang, When Our Heart is in a Holy Place, I was not prepared for the deep question that came from such a small voice. What does holy mean? Well, I don't remember exactly what I said in response. It was probably something about the holy describing things and feelings that we deeply respect and admire, things that are sacred and special and set apart. But the fact that I was caught off guard and that I didn't have that good answer ready when the question came told me that I hadn't wrestled enough with my own understanding of the holy. And as a leader of a spiritual community, that seems kind of important. I wanted a more adequate answer. Next week, Peter Mayer is going to be joining us here, and I'm very excited for his visit. My favorite song of his is a song called Holy Now, and you'll have an opportunity to hear it next Saturday at his concert. Now, the essence of his song, Holy Now, is that Peter goes from being a young man, being taught in Sunday school that certain things are holy, but eventually he learns to expand his understanding of the holy to include everything, all of nature and creation. And this epiphany leads him to see awe and wonder in common encounters and in everyday moments. Now, everything is holy is a really nice idea, but it's not without some challenges. For example, some people argue that if everything is holy, then doesn't that sort of render it meaningless? Because then nothing is sacred or special or set apart? According to folks who would make that argument, the holy is, by definition, that which is not everywhere and in everything. That the holy is something remarkable and exceptional. And to this point, I would remind us that what is considered remarkable and exceptional is a matter of perspective and experience. For example, many days go by in which I do not see a cow. In fact, seeing a cow would be an exception to the kinds of things and beings that I encounter in my everyday life. To be remarkable literally means to be worthy of remark. And I'll tell you what, if I saw a cow walking down Carlisle on my way to church, I would certainly remark about it to my wife at the end of the day. Now, if you live in Los Lunas or Berlin, I imagine your chances of seeing a cow on a daily basis goes up considerably. Exceptional in some contexts is ordinary in others. So, with that in mind, could it be that everything actually is holy, but not all things are holy to everyone? Hang on, it's in here. Well, I'm sorry, it's not in here, it's right there. I lost my holy artifact. It is true. My chalice necklace has meaning and significance to me. It is a reminder of my Unitarian Universalist values, and to me, it is special, sacred, and holy, and I will find a better pocket for it. But to a non-Unitarian Universalist, it's likely no more than just a symbol or a design on a string. And you know what they say about one person's trash being another person's treasure. And I think this applies to how we should be thinking about the holy. Everything has a place in the world, but not everything is assigned the same value by everyone. People have preferences. We have favorites, likes and dislikes, pet peeves, and guilty pleasures. And you know what? Not just people. My dog Max doesn't care for the gourmet dog cookies that I bought for him, but he will take a scoop of peanut butter anytime. Now, I don't, by any stretch of the imagination, think that Max thinks that peanut butter is holy. But one of the amazing gifts of being alive is our ability to act and to choose according to our needs and our desires. And as humans, this includes where we look for the holy. If the holy gives us clues to understand the universe and our place and our purpose in it, then it makes sense that there is a subjective quality to the holy that can be acknowledged and appreciated, while we simultaneously understand that all of creation is holy by virtue of its existence, that everything that exists literally has a place in the universe, and that anything may provide a sacred glimpse at the holy for someone. Now, this idea, when applied to people, is our first principle. We recognize that every person has inherent worth and dignity. But let's not pretend that some people aren't closer to us than others. We can love people to different degrees while still affirming everybody's right to be loved. The right to be loved is universal, but I don't love everybody equally. And so I think it is with the holy, that the holy is in everything, but not equally so to everyone. Another challenge connected to the everything is holy idea was raised by today's reading. If everything is holy, then this includes the good and the bad. Love, joy, and blessings, as well as pain, sin, and evil. Are all of these really holy? What about suffering, oppression, and injustice? Are these holy? Now, I say this on the end of a difficult week. One individual in pain, choosing to inflict pain, violence, and destruction on so many others in Las Vegas. The current administration granting the right to discriminate against LGBTQ community in the name of religious freedom, and allowing businesses to deny birth control in their health insurance plan for the same reason. And the difficulties didn't start this week. In the past few months, we've seen neo-Nazis and white supremacists marching openly in the streets of Charlottesville. We saw the ending of DACA, the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals program. We saw multiple attempts to dismantle our current healthcare system, and we saw discriminatory travel bans put in place, all in the last few months. Where is the holy in all of this? How can there be anything sacred in all of these atrocities? These are realities of our world. Evil is real and present. And I don't mean just the propensity for evil, but the actual manifestation of it. Okay, here's the part where I might lose some of you. It's easy enough to believe that evil exists in the world, but often we who identify as good people, and let me assure you that I know that you are good people, but we have a hard time believing and accepting our own individual capacity for evil. Okay, stick with me here. In his book, Simply Pray, Eric Walker Wickstrom says that we should look unblinkingly at the wounded and broken places in ourselves, seeing the way these wounds continue to hobble us and may continue wounding others. From the petty to the seriously problematic, we look at all of the parts of ourselves that we'd rather not see, so that we can come to terms with the fact, and it is a fact, that these are a part of who we are. Acknowledging this doesn't make us any less. It actually makes us more whole, more complete, more authentic. So let's acknowledge it. Evil is real, both out there in the world, but also within us, in our own hearts and in our own minds. And I want to make a distinction. I'm not talking about sin here, which sin I've understood to mean missing the mark. Evil goes beyond not achieving what we set out to do, or failing at our best intentions. Evil is darker than that. It exists in the moments when our intentions are not good, when we are motivated by hate and vengeance. Evil is when we wish punishment and suffering on another person because we have a warped sense of justice, one that values retaliation or retribution over restoration. The reality of the world must acknowledge that evil is a part of it, and the reality of ourselves must acknowledge not just that we have evil thoughts once in a while, but that sometimes we act on them. Maybe not high-stakes evil, but to think that the only negative things that we ever do are an accident is naive. We have all done things that we knew in advance we shouldn't do, and we went ahead and did them anyway. And I'm not talking about rule breaking. Goodness knows we could use some more civil disobedience sometimes. But I'm talking about being the source of moral injury, of being able to discern right from wrong, and then choosing wrong. Now, it would be so much easier to eradicate evil in the world if it wasn't so ingrained in us. Russian author Alexander Solzhenitsyn observes, "If only it were all so simple. If only there were evil people somewhere insidiously committing evil deeds, and it were necessary only to separate them from the rest of us and destroy them. But the line dividing good and evil cuts through the heart of every human being. And who is willing to destroy a piece of their own heart?" So, what do we do with this? What are we supposed to do knowing that there is evil within every human heart, including our own, including my own? The only way to prevent evil moments from occurring is to admit to ourselves that they are, in fact, possible. That we humans, and not just collectively humans, but we as individuals, people here in this room, good people, are able and sometimes willing to do evil. This is why, at every moment possible, we must be mindful and we must act intentionally. We must be aware of what is influencing our decisions, and we must be able to recognize when the evil intentions that we are all capable of are weighing too heavily on us in our decision process. Ooh, feels a little heavy in here, huh? Well, don't be too disheartened. As important as it is to recognize the evil within us, we do not have to let it define us. I battle evil within myself, but I am not an evil person. In fact, I think it's just the opposite. I think I am holy. Not because I'm wearing a stole and a robe. In my favorite poem from Angela's meditation manual, she reassures me. She wrote, "You, with your broken heart and your seeking, you are the utterance of the timeless word. The name of the holy is pronounced through your being." I find this so comforting. I am holy. You are holy. The name of the holy is pronounced through your being. We are holy beings in a holy universe. And as I reflected some more, it occurred to me why I find comfort in this idea. Because it makes facing the difficult a little less difficult. And I know that we are facing difficult things. I know it's not easy. I've listened to many of you as you've come to me and you've opened up and you've shared the pain in your hearts, the fear and the anger and the sadness that you carry with you. And I carry some too. 270 miles south of here, my grandpa, my last remaining grandparent, is in a hospital bed in El Paso. I'm leaving after church today to go visit him. As I was preparing this message on the holy, I was also preparing to leave town. And both of these tasks had me reflecting on the holy. What does holy mean? It feels like holy work to contemplate and meditate on the meaning of holy. And it also felt like a holy act to prepare for my trek, for my pilgrimage to the sacred site of my grandfather's bedside. I don't look forward to seeing him sick and in pain, but I can push through my own discomfort because I know the time I spend there will be sacred, it will be special, and it will be set apart. It will be holy to me and to him. But likely not to you, and that's okay. I don't expect it to be. You all have your own holy moments to attend to. But regardless of how we will each encounter the holy differently and where we will find it, I want you all to know that I see you and I recognize the holy in you. And while the holy may be, in fact, too complicated for us, I take comfort in knowing that it is big enough to hold us. So what does holy mean? I'm still not sure. But I think it scares me, and it gives me hope. Scared to face the evil in the world, yes, but even more afraid of the evil darkening the corners of my own heart. And it gives me hope that I can accept myself as holy, that I can truly come to believe that the name of the Holy is pronounced through my being. Hopeful that I can do better and be better at rooting out the darkness that I harbor, and that I can acknowledge it, name it, and say, you are a part of me, but you do not control me. I do not choose evil. I choose love. May it be so. Now I'd ask you to please rise in body or spirit as we sing our closing hymn.